There we go, Railcat fans. How you doing today? It's Wednesday. It's Railcatting Wednesday, episode 2. Dan Vaughn with you. Glad you're along on a beautiful spring day in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Hope it's very beautiful wherever you are across this country of ours. Hope you voted yesterday, too. Kind of recovering from that as we had a big election in this side of the globe and in this part of the country as well. Hope you're doing great, NWI. Look forward to seeing y'all in about a month or so. Hello, GM. Craig Maddox, good to see you, my friend. Boy, I wish you were back with us. Boy, I'm actually going to talk about that a little bit today. This is kind of a dry run for what you might expect during the baseball season. We have a little breaking news that we're going to get. Nicole Marie, good to see you as well. GM Curdy, good to see you, dear. Love you very much. Hope you're teaching those kids at St. Mark's. Keep them up to date on English, of course. My lovely wife. Boy, she's a fan. She kind of has to be, I guess, something like that. Anyway, good to see Craig with us and Nicole Marie and others. Of course, spread the word of our podcast, or actually our video cast, our cat scopes we do. It'll be a little shorter this week. Not the length that we had last week. We had a lot of stuff to cover. We have a lot of things to cover here today as well. And I want to share those with you. But again, kind of a dry run. This is what you might expect during a regular season with some breaking news. And Nicole, you've got a question, and I'll answer that for you. Go ahead and fire away, and I'll get to that in just a second, Nicole. But go ahead and fire away for us. And you can ask those questions as well. I answer them right here as I cover a couple things, several topics. Again, we're going to use this like breaking news, where we actually have some breaking news that you're going to hear first that the media has not heard yet. We've not released to the American Association. We've not tweeted. We've not done anything on Facebook. This platform will be the first time you've heard this breaking news in just a moment. We're also going to talk the big news of the week, which I couldn't be more excited for, is the Railcats bringing in concessions. We're going to talk about that, the implications of that, a little bit about that. It's not player news, of course, which a lot of you folks are probably wanting to hear, but it's huge for the Railcats, how we go forward business-wise. First off, Nicole Marie, your question, I'll go ahead and answer that right now. Is Adam Taylor not coming back? That's a very good question. Nicole, I have no answer for that 100%. I believe he may be considering retirement, but I've not heard that. He's not retired. He's not officially retired. I know he's working out because I do follow him on social media. I'll reach out to Adam to see if I can get a quote, but what I understand is I believe that Adam may be going back into coaching. Of course, he's got his master's degree, and I was working on trying to find a coaching job. He's not on the roster, and let me explain how that works, guys, because Nicole's asking that he's not on the roster. What we've done, for example, I'm going to be adding a guy later on the roster this week that's not on there, Charlie Rosario. Rosario actually has been on our roster. What we do is we send out the offers. We send the lead the offers back in September. The guys who we're going to protect, who we're going to be offering contracts to, we have control of those players. Rosario being one, Adam Taylor being one. In years gone by, it's been other players. And what we do is we kind of keep them in a pool. As we add them to our roster, because we can only carry so many players into spring training. I believe the number is 28. Am I right? 28? I have to get back to you on that. I believe it's 28. It might be 30. But there's only so many players you can carry to spring training. I believe it's 30. I believe that's the case. You only have 28 at the roster. You can invite 30 bodies into spring training. So it's very important that those roster spots just don't get used up. So, for example, in a situation like Adam, we still have Adam Taylor's rights. And Adam will be offered a contract. I'd go ahead and put him on that roster. We still have him in control. Charlie Rosario is a great example I'm going to talk about in a moment. Charlie is going to be on our roster this afternoon at about 3 o'clock Central Daylight Time. He'll be put on our roster. He'll see him. Boom, he'll be there. He's actually been on our roster, but not technically on our roster for spring. Hope that makes sense, Nicole Marie, and why we put guys on. But there are a lot of guys, again, and Adam Taylor's one of them that's in my little list of guys that's there, but we've not put him on there yet until we get an official contract. You saw them in the fall. We kept them on there. And yes, I'll get to that in a moment there, Nicole, as well. Hope that answers your question, though, but she's also asking about Dustin Geiger. I'll get to that in a moment, but I hope that makes sense, Nicole. But Adam Taylor does, we still have his rights, but no word yet. I think there's some consideration of retirement and going into coaching. Adam's a great guy. He's a good friend. I think he's a phenomenal young man and just has such a great thing about him. And he's going to be a leader of men and a leader in coaching. And I wish him the best if he does retire. No official word yet, but when we do have that word, you'll hear that breaking right here on our Railcats Periscope, which we're doing right now. Talking Gary SouthShore RailCats baseball. If you're joining us and you're going, what's this guy talking about? He's talking about baseball, but who? The Gary SouthShore RailCats over my shoulder here, which is my right shoulder here in the lovely library of Miss Vaughn, Mrs. Vaughn actually. Railcats cap right there. That's the one of our Railcats caps logo right there. Gary SouthShore RailCats. It's actually railcatsbaseball.com. You want to find out more about us and what we're doing, our front office and our roster. The updated roster will be on there with player bios. Full player bios are updated on all the guys we signed. Again, railcatsbaseball.com. We're the American Association, which is independent baseball, a league of 12 teams this year, running from Winnipeg and Manitoba down to Laredo, Texas, and we're located in Chicagoland on the NWI, Northwest Indiana, southeastern suburbs of Chicago, right there on Lake Michigan. We call it the South Shore of Lake Michigan. Okay, the dry run, the breaking news off the top. Another intriguing signing. I'm not going to tell you, we didn't just sign Reggie Jackson. Wait, that probably dates me, right? We didn't just sign Mike Trout, okay, or Albert Pujols, something like that. But Matt Patrone, a young man who was in the Pecos League last year, and initially when I looked his numbers up, I kind of went, okay, well, not too bad. Actually, when I double-checked and kind of double-clicked, and I pulled up the Pecos League numbers from last year, Matt Patrone, an outfielder who's going to be competing for the outfield spots for the Railcats. Let me give you his bio line real quickly here as I pull that up for you here. There we go. Patrone, who actually had a little time with the Schaumburg Boomers. He didn't make the Boomer squad 2 seasons ago out of University of Mount Olive, Mailpack, New York. He'll be a rookie classified in our league. 25-year-old. He'll be a free agent signing for the Railcats. He'll be announced later on this afternoon, along with the Charlie Rosario move, which you've already seen on the transaction sheet for the American Association, along with Jeremy Hamilton. But Patrone, an interesting young man, 5'6", 165, left-handed bat, throws right. Again, Mount Olive College, traditional Railcat type player, great college career, a guy who had phenomenal college numbers, a guy that led his ball club when he was in college. That's the kind of resume you have from college. But the Pecos League, I found very interesting. At first, I kind of just, here's some numbers from the Pecos League, and they seem pretty nice. But I looked at the numbers, I went, wait, Matt Patrone here, if I pull this up for you, in the Pecos League this year, which 2015, the Pecos League, the independent league that mostly New Mexico, Las Cruces, White Sands, Alpine, Texas. When he played for Santa Fe, the Santa Fe Fuego. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? It's like an intimidating name. Pull him up here. Let's find the 2015. Matt Patrone played in 53 ball games, 212 at-bats, 86 runs, 83 hits, 11 doubles, 1 triple, 14 home runs, 48 runs batted in for an average of 392. Now, that average of 392, first off, will place him in the Pecos League, as I pull these stats up for you, leaving these live on the air. As we can tell you that Patrone, with that 392 average, finished in the top 20 in batting, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here. Let me count him up here. Give me just a second. Live as we go here. Average. Wait, there we go. Click them. All righty. Well, the stats aren't working for us, but anyway, tell you that he had the 16 home runs, I believe. Yes, my bad. Did I tell you 16? Yeah, 14 home runs. That was good for 3, 4, 5, 6 in the Pecos League. His RBI total, good for, it looks like it put him in the 12th spot in runs batted in, but 392, the average, would put him in the top 5 in average in that Pecos League. So this is a guy that's had a really solid year in the Pecos League, playing in independent baseball, a level below what the Railcats offer, but a guy that definitely some pretty impressive numbers, among the league leaders in RBIs and in home runs, and a guy that's going to bring some power, 14 home runs, I believe. Off the top of my head, just quick research, we did this breaking news, the most home runs of any Railcat type free agent signing we've ever brought in. So 14 home runs come out of a 14 home run season. In recent memory, I don't recall a guy having those kind of power numbers. It was the Pecos League. It'll be interesting to see how that transpires. But Matt Patrone, Patrone, outfielder in 53 ball games, hit 392. Breaking news, you heard it first. new Railcat outfielder. He'll join the rest of the Cats in the outfield, which is going to be, at the moment, a little crowded. You've got, with the outfield right now of Masato Fukei, Matt Hibbert, Tillman Pugh, and then Trevor Stevens. Now we toss in Patron here, and the possibility of Adam Taylor possibly coming back. That's 5 outfielders right now, possibly a 6. You figure 4 guys make the club, but versatility is the key here. I don't believe Patron plays anything else, so that may also be something to watch as well. But a guy with some power numbers, which is good news because Nicole Marie's already asked us what happened with the loss of the transaction with Dustin Geiger. Let's go through that real quickly before I get to the great news. And the big thing is the Railcats with the moves. Drop again is GK Pablo. Glad you're along here. Talking Gary SouthShore RailCats baseball for you folks that kind of looked away there. Nicole Marie had a question and she was talking about Dustin Geiger. Hello, how are you? Where are you watching us? We talk a little baseball here, a little minor league baseball on a Wednesday. Railcats, Railcatting, episode number 2 in our cat scopes here. Mentioned that Matt Patron and the other 2 moves, which were announced already with the association. Charlie Rosario, the ace, coming back. That's huge news for the Cats. Do you realize Charlie Rosario was in the top 2 in innings pitched last year, top 2 in starts? Basically, he replaced Dustin Geiger. I mean, not Dustin Geiger, rather, Dustin Crenshaw. My bad, I got my Dustins and Justins, and he replaced Dustin Crenshaw as your team ace last year. A lot of folks are wondering, who's going to be the ace when Crenshaw left? Charlie Rosario stepped in delivering last season. In one stretch, he had something like 5 straight quality starts. He went 19 times. He went 5 innings for the Railcats last year. A couple more numbers to pass along to you quickly on Charlie. Just how good was he in that 12-8 record of 381, 137 innings. That's the second most in the American Association last year. 13 team high quality starts. Wasn't even close in those 22 ball games. That was good for the second most starts in the American Association. He was tied for 4th in wins with 12. He also picked up those 22 nods, was good for 2nd. So 22 starts. This guy was a workhorse for you last year, an iron horse, a young man who keeps the ball in play and not afraid for contact and will give you innings. And a guy, again, I mentioned 19 times going at least 5 and had those 13 quality starts of 6 innings, allowing 3 earned runs or less. Charlie Rosario back in the fold. He's your ace. He goes from the top of your rotation. He's back again. Huge news for the Cats, getting Charlie Rosario, the young man who lives in Simpsonville, South Carolina, but out of La Vega, Dominican Republic, former Red Sox farmhand. He is a veteran, a guy that's got some time in the minors. He's your veteran at the top of the rotation. Welcome back, Charlie Rosario. And welcome back, Jeremy Hamilton. I should sing, welcome back. Jeremy Hamilton is back. Young man, a free agent pickup. Jeremy was at the Railcats in 2014. Kind of gotten a log jam there. He's a first baseman, natural first baseman, doesn't play anywhere else but DH. Jeremy kind of got in a bit of a log jam with Wally Backman, of course, the catchers, Craig Maddox, and also Ryan Babineau catching that season as well. And we sent Jeremy Hamilton on a trade to Lincoln in 2014. Jeremy's back, free agent signing, played last year with the Lincoln Salt Dogs as well in our same division. But Jeremy comes back. What a nice young man. I say it all the time. The Railcat family is blessed with so many great people. And when Greg Taggart signs somebody, he signs quality individuals. I've said that so many times in press boxes of the American Association. Hey, tell me about this guy. And I always say, boy, what a great guy. We mentioned about Adam Taylor and then Rosario and Jeremy Hamilton. They all fit the same bill. I mentioned Craig Maddox a while ago. Craig, just a quality individual. These are the kind of people that Greg Taggart and the Railcats family surrounds himself with on the field and off the field. Makes a huge difference. You know, you'll go to battle with a guy that's a quality individual. Run up the wall for somebody that is going to put the team in the organization first, and that's the kind of players that Greg gets, and Jeremy Hamilton, one of them. Jeremy, also family in Cincinnati, very involved with him, following him along the way as well. As a sports fan just joined us, glad you're on Sports Fan, talking Gary SouthShore RailCats baseball on your Wednesday. It's our episode number 2 of Railcatting. I kind of reset the thing here. Quickly here to get to this thing and try to shorten this thing up today. Jeremy, though, returning home, those 2 seasons away, played in 76 games last year, hit 245 in 2014, rather, 33 RBI in 14. Last year, 237, 84 ball games for the Salt Dogs. And Jeremy, a guy that's also a veteran, spent time in the Phillies organization, so he brings some of that affiliated experience to the Railcats roster. And Jeremy also will anchor first base. I think this is a good situation for Jeremy. I think he's going to probably anchor first base. It's one situation where in seasons gone by, there's been a logjam there. Now it's a little more wide open because the Railcats had Dustin Geiger in the fold. Dustin came to the Railcats late in the season. The Railcats sent Geiger to Wichita. Nicole Marie asked about that earlier. Geiger going to that veteran-laden club. Geiger probably fitting more toward a Wichita-type ball club than a younger Railcat-type club. We're going to talk to Greg Taggart about that in our upcoming podcast, which will be in 2 weeks. We'll get some answers for you folks who want to hear more about the reason. And when we get closer to the 1st of April, we're going to kind of sit down with Greg on the audio side of things on our Railcatting podcast, which will debut on SoundCloud later on again in the month of March. We'll talk about what goes into making the roster and why certain players are put in and why they aren't. We'll do that coming up later on the month. But again, Dustin Geiger sent to Wichita, and Matt Sergey as Amino 06. Glad you're along talking baseball on Wednesday. And Matt Sergey sent to Laredo, back to Laredo. Sergey never pitched for the Railcats, so I know numbers here. Had a good season last year, 5-4 and a 2.41 between Laredo and Washington. But that's not really the big news. The big news is Dustin Geiger, Matt Sergey, they're off the roster. The big news is Charlie Rosario's back. Jeremy Hamilton is back, and the Railcats getting Matt Patrone. And the news I really wanted to talk about, which probably should have been the headline, but it's so important. I love sushi, okay? Love sushi. I love food. Love sushi. Love grandma's fried chicken. Things of that nature. Well, I can't make sushi. I love it. I can't make it. I can't make fried chicken like grandmother can. There's just certain things I can't do. Well, the Railcats kind of taking that same philosophy are bringing ballpark food back to the folks that know it best, the folks that work the ballpark. That would be us. The Railcats actually announcing, and there's a Railcatting blog. You can find that on Railcats. Actually, you can find it on our Facebook page. Got my social media kind of backwards here. You can find it on our social media page, Facebook, at this morning's blog, which had the spring training schedule. 2 kids games, by the way. But the big news, though, was that the Railcats have brought concessions in-house, just like Schaumburg did in 2015, our sister club in the Frontier League. The Railcats doing this. It's been a lot of work, too. Brian Leiter and Pete Lavin, of course, the vice president and of Salvi Sports, president of Salvi Sports, sorry, Pete, and the general manager, Brian Leiter, and also Mr. Salvi, Pat Salvi himself, have been worked tirelessly on trying to get this situation where the Railcats could bring concessions in, both with Schaumburg and with the South Shore. Huge news. Possibilities is what I'm talking about here. That's a key name. Everything from promotions, on-field promotions, to things in the stands, to the whole ballpark experience can be tied to that sense of smell and taste that the concessions offer and the customer service experience. There's so many things that are tied to this. It's an exciting opportunity for the entire staff. Club will also bring in a young man, Phil West, who'll be also running the food and beverage side for the Railcats. Welcome, Phil. I haven't met you yet. Look forward to seeing you next month. Phil, local guy, done some work around the area, catering and food trucks, which are all the rage now. The food truck thing is huge right now. Also, his background including work in the Chicagoland area in both hotels and restaurants. He brings a wealth of experience, but he's also going to be working for an organization that knows what they want. Pull the curtain back real quickly. Brian Leiter, Railcats GM, got his start in baseball in concessions down in Little Rock. So this is a gentleman that knows concessions. He knows what he's looking for. He's going to be the right guy to lead this thing and handing off the ball to Phil West to run the show. Exciting times. Also bringing in new lifeblood always is good. You know, you think about it, whenever you bring a new employee in and who believes in the philosophy that we've got going on. For example, when you bring in a new, a new player, not just a new player, but a new front office member who's excited, and create some energy and infuse that new blood. And that's what Phil's going to do. Whole new philosophy. From a revenue standpoint, it makes perfect sense as well. Instead of having to share, the Railcats also will help themselves out at the bank, which is a huge thing too. Remember, it is a business, and those hot dog sales and beer sales and whatever else you want are all very important aspects of what we do on the South Shore. So again, a big news, huge news. Like I said, when I was a kid, grandmother's chicken was the best. There's some great chicken out there. hers was the best. The iron skillet, boy, I can still smell it today. See that fresh flour. She fry it in the frying pan there on the farm in West Texas. And hot dogs should be served by hot dog people, right? You know, baseball folks know nachos and popcorn and all that stuff that goes along with baseball. Not saying that Airmark didn't. I'm not saying that at all. Baseball people know baseball, and that's what the Railcats are doing. We're a small operation. It makes total sense to bring it inside. Also creates 200 jobs. So you folks in politics, 200 jobs are being created on the South Shore as well. That's exciting as well. As the Railcats will be hosting a job fair on March 12th from 9 to 12 p.m. at the Steel Yard for the 2016 season. 200 positions or so for food and beverage. Also, there'll be some game night personnel in the audiovisual department and janitorial areas of the ball club. Again, that will be coming up March 12th, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at U.S. Steel Yard there in downtown Gary, Indiana. So that's exciting stuff. I couldn't be happier. Again, I mean, this is such a perfect fit for what we do as a ball club. It's exciting. It's going to make everything more exciting, going what we're doing in the stands, on the field, on the air, in the media, marketing, tickets, our reach across NWI, all around the South Shore, adding this to it. This is just exciting news, and I couldn't be happier. And again, baseball people running baseball food the way it should be. A couple of closing notes I want to pass along. The baseball family lost Scott Miller, the broadcaster for Fargo-Moorhead Railhawks and Redhawks. And I've said that before, right? Creating a name out of another. Fargo-Moorhead Redhawks in the American Association. Scott passed away with lung cancer last week, and the entire broadcast community has been touched by this. Scott, classy guy. I didn't know Scott that well. I mean, I know him. He was always with a smile and asking me how things were in Texas and Australia and the South Shore, and you name it. He was always there. Excuse me. The Railcats want to extend our deep condolences to Scott's family and the entire Fargo community. He was a big broadcaster in the area in Fargo. Also, he did a lot with the North Dakota State Bison in their national championship runs. Of course, they're in that football championship every year. Scott was their play-by-play voice. Broadcasters planning on wearing pins this year in his honor. I'm going to be wearing pink on Sundays in honor of cancer awareness, because cancer has also touched my family as well. I want to say thank you to all you folks who've reached out. My father, Dan Vaughn Sr., passed away on February 10th, rather. It's been a tough go the last few weeks. A lot of you folks who reached out on Facebook, Twitter, email, phone calls, text. It's going to take forever to get back to all of you, but I just want to thank you. Thank you for my entire family, my wife, Gay Marie, the two kiddos as well, and just my entire family, my brothers, my sister, my mother, my stepmother, our entire family, cousins, you name it. We're so honored and just so blessed to have so many people reach out. My father lost a battle he was fighting, and the reason it touches so home with me is that my father died of complications from stomach cancer surgery down the line. He actually had the cancer removed, but it was cancer related, and that's why he's no longer with us. And I want to, again, it touched me deeply, and we'll be wearing pink this year in honor of cancer awareness for Scott, people like my father and others who were cancer battlers and survivors, and God bless you all, and thank you for your support. Up next on the blog, Japanese baseball, still working on some research there. It's a lot of research trying to get that done. Also look forward this afternoon, the official release of Matt Patron, as they'll be out there along with Rosario and Jeremy Hamilton. Those will all be released to the media. You heard the breaking news first right here, folks. That's what Periscope is all about. Breaking news, getting you that Railcats breaking news. Also our updates via social media. Dan Vaughn Jr. at Twitter is one place. Facebook, railcatsbaseball.com is another, which is our website. Of course, Facebook, the Railcats Facebook, and our Railcats Twitter, and of course, Periscope. About a month away, I'll see many of you, Nicole Marie and other fans, my beloved front office. I'll see you folks about a month from tomorrow, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, or the 4th, which is Friday, so a month from Friday. Up next, breaking news as it happens. Also, good day, mate. I'll be heading down under to see my friends in Perth and West Australia coming up this week. I'll be there for 10 days, but we will also have updates. We'll be having a Railcatting special edition from Perth next Wednesday. It'll be in the middle of the night, I guess, or we'll work it out exactly, but we'll have it up for you next week in our special Railcatting edition from Perth, Western Australia, my second home in the winter. Again, a month away. Glad you guys joined us. Again, join us right here in Periscope every week. I hope you will also, one more note to pass along. You want to find this, if you want to archive it, go back and watch it later. It's a little windy sometimes, and you want to kick Netflix to the side for a night. You can find this on my YouTube page at Dan Vaughn Jr., and then we can send that link out as well on a tweet here a bit later again. Well, breaking news, Matt Patrone's a Railcat. Railcat's doing their own hot dogs this year. Rosario's back. Hamilton's back. Baseball's getting close. We're glad everyone joined us today. And as we always say, at night, but it's daytime. Good afternoon, Rusty and Rascal. We'll see you next week. God bless.